And they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistines are waging war against Keilah, and they are pillaging the threshing floors. David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go and smite these Philistines? And the Lord said to David, Go, you shall smite the Philistines and save Keilah. David's men said to him, Behold, we are afraid here in Judah. How much more if we go to Keilah, to the battle array of the Philistines? David continued further to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord answered him and said, Arise, go down to Keilah, for I am giving the Philistines into your hand. David and his men went to Keilah and battled the Philistines, and he led away their cattle and struck them a great blow. And David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it was that when Abiathar the son of Ahimelech fled to David to Keilah, the ephod came down in his hand. And it was related to Saul that David had come to Keilah, and Saul said, God has delivered him into my hand, for he has been shut in by coming into a city with doors and bars. And Saul summoned all the people to war, to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men, and David knew that upon him Saul was plotting the evil. And he said to Abiathar the priest, Bring near the ephod. David said, O Lord God of Israel, your bondsman has heard that Saul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city because of me. Will the citizens of Keilah deliver me into his hand? Will Saul come down, as your bondsman has heard? O Lord God of Israel, tell now your bondsman. And the Lord said, He will come down. And David said, Will the citizens of Keilah deliver me and my men into Saul's hands? And the Lord said, They will deliver. David and his men, about 600 men, arose and left Keilah. And they went wherever they would go. And it was told to Saul that David had escaped from Keilah, and he refrained from going forth. David dwelt in the desert in the strongholds, and he dwelt in the mountain in the desert of Ziph. Saul sought him all the days, but God did not deliver him into his hand. David saw that Saul had gone forth to seek his soul, and David was in the desert of Ziph in the forest. Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David to the forest, and he strengthened his hand through God. And he said to him, Fear not, for the hand of my father Saul will not find you. You shall reign over Israel, and may I be to you as a viceroy, and my father Saul too knows that this is so. The two of them made a covenant before the Lord, and David stayed in the forest. Jonathan went to his home, and the Ziphites went up to Saul, to Gibeah, saying, Is David not hiding with us in the strongholds in the forest in the hill of the Hachilah, which is from the south of the desolate wasteland? And now according to all the desires of your hearts to come down, and it is incumbent upon us to deliver him into the king's hand. Saul said, Blessed shall you be to the Lord, for you have taken pity upon me. Go now, prepare yet, and know and see his place, where his foot will be, who saw him there. For one told me that he deals cunningly. And see and know of all the hiding places where he hides. You shall return to me, with the certainty that I shall go with you. And it shall be that if he is in the land, I shall search him out among the thousands of Judah. And they arose and went to Ziph before Saul, and David and his men were in the desert of Maon, in the plain which is to the south of the desolate wasteland. And Saul and his men went to search. And they told David, and he went down to the rock and stayed in the desert of Maon. And Saul heard and pursued David in the desert of Maon. And Saul went from this side of the mountain, and David and his men went on that side of the mountain. David was hastening to get away from before Saul, but Saul and his men were encircling to David and his men to seize them. And a messenger came to Saul, saying, Make haste and go, for the Philistines are spread out over the land. Saul returned from pursuing David, and he went toward the Philistines. Therefore they called that place the Rock of Divisions.